You are not an introvert. But lately, people exhaust you. Not in a dramatic way. Just quietly. Like your social battery runs out faster than it used to. You hang out with people you genuinely like. And you still come home feeling strangely drained. You cancel plans you were once excited about. You read a message and feel too tired to reply. Not because you are sad. Not because anything is wrong. Just because something feels heavy. Here is the strange part. Almost everyone around you feels the same way, and nobody fully knows why. Think about the last time your phone buzzed. You probably checked it within 30 seconds, maybe faster. Now think about how many times that happened today. 20 times, 40 times, 80. You open an app without deciding to open it. Your thumb just moves. You scroll through content you do not even care about. And somewhere in the middle of it you think, why am I still here? Then you keep scrolling. You are sitting with someone at dinner. The conversation is fine. They are laughing. You are laughing. But part of your brain is somewhere else. Maybe thinking about a message you have not replied to. Maybe thinking about something you saw online earlier. Maybe just nowhere in particular. You are present, but not fully. And the strange thing is, they probably feel the same way. Two people sitting together, both slightly somewhere else. You remember making plans used to feel exciting, something to look forward to. Now making plans feels like signing a contract. What if you are tired that day? What if something better comes up? What if you just want to be alone? So you say yes. Yeah, and then you spend 3 days quietly dreading it. Or you cancel, and then feel guilty for canceling. Either way, something feels off. And this is where things get interesting. Because this is not just you. A few years ago, people talked about being introverted like it was a personality type. Some people just need more alone time. That made sense. But something shifted. People who were never introverted started feeling this way. Extroverts started canceling plans. Social butterflies started dreading group chats. People who used to run on human connection started running out of it faster. Something changed. But it did not change overnight. It crept in, slowly. The way your eyes adjust to a dim room. You do not notice the darkness increasing. You just realize at some point that the room feels darker than before. But here is the first open question. If we are more connected than ever, why does social interaction feel more exhausting than ever? Hold that thought. Because there is a second question underneath it. What if the problem is not the people you are spending time with? What if the problem is everything that happens before you even see them? Let us look at a normal morning. You wake up. Before you do anything else, you check your phone. There is already something waiting. A notification. A message. Someone posted something. Someone reacted to something you said yesterday. Before your brain has fully woken up, it is already processing social information. Already comparing. Already responding. Already performing. And it is not even 8 in the morning. By the time you actually see a real human being, you have already had dozens of micro-social interactions. You have read takes and opinions. You have seen how people reacted to things. You have felt the low hum of other people's emotions all morning. And none of it felt like socializing. But your brain treated it like socializing. Because to your brain, social information is social information. It does not care whether it came from a screen or a room. It processes it all the same way. And this is where things get interesting. Your brain has something researchers call a social battery. It is not a metaphor. It is a real cognitive resource. When you interact with people, you use it. When you are alone and quiet, you recharge it. For most of human history, this system worked well. You would interact with maybe a few dozen people on any given day. Family, neighbors, people at a market. And then you would have quiet, real quiet. No pings, no notifications, no background noise of other people's thoughts. Your brain would rest, and then you would be ready again. But something about it feels different now, because now your social battery is being drained before the day even begins. You are not just interacting with the people in your life, you are interacting with hundreds. The person who commented on a post, the influencer who made you feel vaguely inadequate at 9 in the morning, the friend of a friend whose opinion you read and now cannot stop thinking about, the group chat that has been going since last night. None of these feel like big interactions, but they add up. They layer on top of each other, like small weights on a scale, each one barely noticeable, together almost unbearable. And here is where the pattern becomes something bigger. This is not just about you being tired. This is about an entire generation running a social system that was designed for a different era. Your brain evolved over hundreds of thousands of years. It learned to handle in-person interaction, body language, eye contact, silence. It learned to read a room. It did not evolve for this. It did not evolve for group chats with 47 unread messages. It did not evolve for comment sections. It did not evolve for people you have never met having opinions about your life. But here we are, running ancient hardware on an entirely new operating system. And the companies that built these platforms know this. They did not build them to connect you. They built them to keep you engaged. Engagement is the goal. And the most effective way to keep a human engaged is to make them feel socially stimulated. A reaction, a response, a notification, a small dopamine signal that says someone is paying attention. This is not an accident. It is a design. And it runs all day, every day, in your pocket. But that is not the strange part. The strange part is what this does to real life. Because after a full day of digital social stimulation, real human connection starts to feel like work. Not because the people around you are less interesting, but because your brain is already full. You have already processed so much social information that the idea of processing more, even from someone you love, feels like one more thing to carry. Think about the last time you were truly alone. Not scrolling, not listening to something, but not half watching a video while doing something else. Just alone. No input, no noise, no one else's thoughts moving through your brain. If you are struggling to remember, that is part of the problem. Because real rest is not just physical. Your brain needs silence, not sleep, not entertainment. Silence. The kind where nothing is asking for your attention. The kind your brain can actually use to reset. Most people never get that kind of silence anymore. The moment boredom starts to form, a phone appears. The moment quiet becomes uncomfortable, a podcast fills it. The moment you are alone with your thoughts, the scroll begins. And so the social battery never fully recharges. It just runs lower and lower. And then one day, you are sitting with someone you genuinely care about, and you realize you have nothing left to give. It's not because you do not care, but because the tank was empty before you arrived. There is something else happening underneath all of this, something that does not get talked about enough. Modern social interaction has changed shape. It is faster. It is more frequent, but it is also thinner. Think about the way you talk to most people now. Short messages, quick reactions, a meme that says what you cannot be bothered to type, a voice note instead of a real conversation, a heart on a photo instead of asking how someone is doing. These are not bad things. They are efficient. They are easy, but they do not feed you the way real connection does. There is something researchers call social nourishment, the deep feeling of being known by another person, the conversations that go somewhere unexpected, at the moments where you say something honest and someone says, "Yes, me too." That kind of interaction restores people. It does not drain them, but it requires something. It requires slowness. It requires presence. It requires a certain kind of vulnerability. That is very hard to access when your brain is already overwhelmed. So here is what happens. You interact constantly, but feel increasingly alone. You are reachable by everyone, but truly known by fewer people than before. You have more ways to connect, and you feel less connected. And the harder you try to fix it by being more available, more online, more present, the more exhausted you become. Bring this back to your own life for a moment. Think about the last conversation that left you feeling good, actually good, not just fine, not just okay, but genuinely lighter afterward. Chances are, it was not a quick exchange. It probably went somewhere. It was probably honest. It probably involved at least one moment of real silence between the words. Now think about how often that happens. And think about what usually fills that space instead. The quick check-in. The how are you and how are you. The response that is technically an answer, but says nothing. We have learned to perform connection without actually making it. And we do it so often that we start to forget what the real thing feels like. You have probably had this experience. You meet someone, and the conversation just flows. You talk for 2 hours, and it feels like 20 minutes. You walk away and think, I should do that more often. And then life fills in again, and it does not happen. But not because you do not want it, but because the conditions for it are getting harder to find. Phones on the table, notifications pulling focus, the low background hum of everyone being slightly somewhere else. So where does this leave you? Not with an answer. Because this is not really that kind of thing. It is more of a quiet recognition. You are tired for a reason, not because something is wrong with you, not because you are weak or antisocial or broken, but because the environment around you is asking for more than any human brain was built to give. And here is something worth sitting with. The exhaustion you feel might be information, not a malfunction, a signal. The way hunger tells you that you need food, the way tiredness tells you that you need sleep. Maybe this particular tiredness is telling you something, not about the people in your life, but about how you have been showing up, or more precisely, how much of you is left to show up with. Think back to where we started. You are not an introvert, but lately, people exhaust you. Now, maybe that makes a little more sense. It was never about the people. It was about what you carried into the room with you. The 47 unread messages, the scroll that started before breakfast, the 100 small social transactions that happened before you ever opened your mouth. You arrived already tired, and somewhere, the people you were with, they arrived already tired too. And two tired people trying to connect is a very different thing from two rested people finding each other. Maybe what is missing is not more connection. Maybe what is missing is the space between connections. And the quiet, the boredom, the slow return to yourself. Not a solution, just an observation. The kind you probably already sensed somewhere, but could not quite put into words. Until now.